Hello and welcome to another pen video from me, Penultimate Dave. So I have here another 10 pens currently inked this week. So I think let's go through these briefly one by one. We'll go through them in a little bit more detail and then we'll do a writing sample. So from left to right we have a Visconti Homo Sapiens Florentine Hills. We have a Visconti Medici Il Magnifico in the Lapis Lazuli. Visconti Medici Il Magnifico in the red marble. We have a Visconti, and this is a Divina Elegance in green, a Visconti Divina Elegance in brown, a Visconti Homo Sapiens, and this is the Jade, a Visconti Homo Sapiens Midnight in Florence, a Visconti Homo Sapiens Blue Lagoon, an Armando Simoni Bologna Extra, and this is the Arco Verde, and a Armando Simoni Bologna Extra Black and Gold Lucens. So I think let's take a look at these pens in a little bit more detail. So this is the lovely Visconti, and this is the Homo Sapiens Florentine Hills. And you can see here that this has a lot of lovely celluloid ribbon that is in that body or barrel of the pen. This is one of my early Viscontis, and this is the Homo Sapiens. So this was my second Visconti that I had. My first was the London Fog, which beat it by a day. This has a 23 cat palladium medium nib, but I do like how this writes. It writes very wet and quite bouncy. It's actually typical of some of the I'd say more older, more bouncier palladium nibs that Visconti had on their Homo Sapiens range. So this is a really good size pen. I can post the cap if I want to. I don't normally, honestly. I'm just not a cap poster, but I can post it if I want to. It's a power vac. It's a double reservoir. You've got the hook safe lock mechanism on there. You also do have on the cap here some other sort of ribbon swirls going on there as well, which is quite nice. So that is a pen that I have inked up this week. Another pen is the Visconti Medici Il Magnifico. This is the Lapis Lazuli. This is made of Lapis Lazuli stone or marble, and also solid silver, which is a gold-plated vermeil. So this is a very, very heavy pen. It's solid silver AG925, and the marble just makes it one heavy pen. But similarly to the Visconti Homo Sapiens, it's a very similar length, the same sort of concave section, the hook safe lock. It is a power vac, but it's a single reservoir, not a double reservoir. And this has the 18 karat gold medium nib on there. This is the newer 18 karat gold nibs from Visconti that are in-house nibs. But you can see there, it's very similar in terms of length and also in terms of girth as well. Although the Visconti Homo Sapiens is cylindrical and this is faceted. The next pen I have inked up this week is again another Visconti Medici Il Magnifico, and this is the red marble. And this was the first of the Medici Il Magnificos that came out. The second was the green, the third was the Lapis Lazuli, and then the fourth was the black marble. And I'm sure there'll be a fifth one out very, very soon as well. Now, this is a beautiful pen, and it was a pen that I really wanted to add to my collection. I'm glad I did. Again, it's solid marble and also solid silver. So, again, it is a heavy pen, but it's a power vac filler. It's got the hook safe lock mechanism. It's a single reservoir again. You've got the concave section, and you've got a 23 karat palladium nib there. It's a medium nib. I just find these very, very comfortable in the size of my hand. I find that they are as comfortable as the Visconti Homo Sapiens. They are a lot more weighty though, so that there is one thing, and also the cost is a lot more as well because of the solid silver and also the marble. But I do find that these are really, really nice pens, and I do love writing with them. So I have that pen inked up with me this week as well. I also have this pen which I had inked up again on, I think, last week. This was the Visconti, Divina, and this is the Elegance in green. And this is a beautiful pen. You look at that, you get a lot of chatoyance there on this pen. And you just, if I just angle that, look at that chatoyance. That's beautiful. So this is an interesting pen. It's a little bit thinner than these three. It has a interesting mechanism. It's a captured converter. So you pull this knob out here, and it's got a converter in, and you just twist and turn it like you would a normal cartridge converter. But it's a what they call a captured converter. So you cannot unscrew the body. You cannot replace the converter. So if the converter were to break, you'd have to send it in for repair. I've not had any of my Divinas break. I know that there have been issues with some in the past I've heard of on forums and that, but I honestly have not had any issues myself. This has the My Pen finial on it, like the rest of the Viscontis. Also has the bridge clip there as well. And you have these rods, and typically they are silver rods, although I believe these may be silver and vermilled, or it may be just brass or bronze perhaps. You have a 23 cap palladium medium nib. It's a number 6 size nib. You got the hook safe lock mechanism on there. You can post these caps, and actually they do post quite nicely, and the rod pattern does line up as well. But again, I just don't post my caps enough to warrant actually doing that, to be honest. But you can do it if you want to. The next pen here is again another Visconti Divina Elegance, and this is in the brown, and this is a beautiful, beautiful material there that you can see. And this, I'm not normally one for brown pens. I picked this up when I did a number of years ago because of the price. I got this for an insane price on an eBay auction, and it was a company in Italy back then called Marte Modena or Modena, and they were selling Viscontis at really crazy prices. And I did pick this one up, and I did get it for a crazy price. So I'm very glad that I did. Again, like the Elegance in green, it's got a captured converter there as well. You do have these silver rods there, and you have a number 6 size 23 cap palladium medium nib there. You got the hook safe lock mechanism, but it is a captured converter. And again, if I wanted to, I can post that cap. And again, the rods do line up as well. So it's a lovely pen. I honestly would like some more Divinas, I think. The issue is that they have, as I say, they're not making them. They made a Bordeaux one in 2021. I do think it's a little bit overpriced for what it is, though. But then again, Visconti prices have gone up a lot in the last couple of years. So is it worth spending that kind of money on it? I don't know. I would like the red one. I guess if I were able to pick one up for a good price, then I might actually pick one up for a good price. But I don't know. I've not actually sought out to go and buy one myself, but I do like the Divinas. My only issue with the Divinas is they only hold maximum 0.7 milliliters of ink, so, and probably I'd say more closer to 0.5 milliliters, and because they're fairly wet writers, I find that they do go through ink pretty quickly. But then again, you could use maybe let me reach over a Pinida pen filler or a Visconti traveling inkwell, and you could use those to refill on the go. So yeah, it's not really a problem, but it is just a perception that I have that I'd much rather have a pen that held 1.5 or 2.5 milliliters of ink over a pen that only holds 0.7 milliliters of ink. But there are other options available there. My next pen inked up is this one, and this is the Visconti Homo Sapiens Jade, and it does have a jade gemstone on that cap finial there. This was a pen that was made a number of years ago, and I do like it. It is a nice pen, and it's very difficult to get hold of this now because there were only 188 pens of this made. Now, Visconti have since actually issued a Gemstones collection, which has a red, which looks very similar to my Caput Mundi, a blue one, and also a green one, which is very similar to this Jade. And they all do have the gemstones on the cap finial. Now, I don't know about the gemstone versions, but this Jade, you cannot remove the gemstone. It's not a my pen finial, so it's not magnetic, so you cannot remove it. But I do like the Jade. I have to say, I did think that the gemstone was a little bit gimmicky to start with, but I've grown used to it, and it's not been an issue for me. But you can see that ink sloshing around there. It's a power vac filler. It holds 2.5 milliliters of ink because it is a double reservoir. You've got the hook safe lock mechanism for a quarter of a turn, a concave section, and a 23 cap palladium medium nib there. And I can, again, if I want to, post that cap if I really want to, but I just typically do not. So I've got that one inked up with me this week as well. And then another one of its siblings, which is the Visconti Homo Sapiens Midnight in Florence. Again, another power vac. It holds, again, about 2.5 milliliters of ink. You've got the standard My Pen finial, cap finial. You've got the bridge clip there. Now, this is limited edition to 888. Now, I do have a prototype here, so I don't actually have the number engraved onto it. But I have here a 23 cap palladium medium nib, and I have to say that these older 23 cap palladium medium nibs, I really do like how they write. They have a bit of a bounce to them, and they just write really, really well. So I have this pen inked up as well, but you can see the quarter of a turn there just to lock and unlock that mechanism. But the material in this pen is really quite good. So you have this bit of an ink window here. The majority of that pen, though, is opaque, just with that small bit of ink window. Each pen is different. I've seen some with more of an ink window there, and some with less of an ink window or no ink window at all. So I'm glad that I picked this one up when I did, because it does have a bit of an ink window there. So I'm glad of that. The next pen, which is another sibling as well, is the Visconti Homo Sapiens Blue Lagoon. And again, that has the My Pen finial there. It has the newer V for Visconti logo. You have the bridge clip there and the spring-loaded clip. It is 888. Most of Visconti's are 888 limited edition ones. There are some like the Jade, which was 188, I think it was. The Medici Il Magnifico's are 288. But typically most of them have been in the past 888 limited edition run. But this is slightly better colour, I think. So this is the Blue Lagoon. I've got a lot of blue in mine. There is green as well, but I typically have a lot more blue. It's more of a bluish than a greenish pen. But it has got the power vac. It's got a double reservoir in there. It's got the hook safe lock, the concave section, and this has the newer 18 karat gold nibs from Visconti, the in-house nib. I can also post the cap if I want to, but again, typically I don't do that. But so these certainly this nib writes a lot more narrower. It writes a little bit more than as a fine nib rather than a medium nib. But and I have flossed the tines a bit on that because it also wrote quite dry as well. But I am liking how the pen writes now. And sometimes you do have to adjust pens just a little bit just to make them write how you would like them to write, because we all like a pen that writes differently. Like if I like a pen that writes wet and bouncy, you might like a pen that writes dry and stiff. So everybody has a different tolerance to how you like a pen to write. So it really does depend on how you want the pen to write, and if the pen doesn't write how you like it, then there's several options. You can either return it and maybe get a refund, possibly, if you haven't inked it up. You could either sell it, or you could make some adjustments or take it to a nibmeister, and at that point then have it write exactly how you would like it to write, and then it will become your next best pen. And that's typically what I do. I take the third option there, the last option, and improve the nib slightly, just make a few adjustments, make it write a bit wetter, and then I am happy with that nib. The next pen I have inked up is this one. It's an Armando Simoni Club Bologna Extra, and this is in the Arco Verde, and these are very highly sought after. I do have 4 of these, identical, well, almost identical. I have 2 in this rhodium trim, and I have 2 in gold trim. So I have 4 in total, but these are beautiful pens, and you can just see there that lovely chatoyance going on. This is celluloid. It's not resin, but it really, really looks lovely. So I'm glad that I do actually have 4 of these. It does have a pneumatic filler, and you'll see a little hole there, hopefully. There you go. So what you do is you unscrew this. I'll show you here, actually. You unscrew. I've got to be careful not to eject ink out of this pen, though. So you have this shaft. Inside here is a sac, and what you do is you put your finger on here, and whilst you're pushing it down, you have your finger on here. You let go. That creates a vacuum, and it sucks up ink into the pen, and then you screw the knob down, and then you have hopefully a pen full of ink, or at least a sack full of ink. So that is quite good there. And this is what most vintage pens would have used. They would have used a sack. So this also has a number 8 size, and this is a ASC Magic Flex nib. It's a medium nib, but it writes more like a broad. It writes quite wet. But I do like it. I like how these write. So for me, that is a nice writing pen, and I will get the correct thread matched up. No, I won't. I will do. There you go. So there are 3 threads on these pens, on some pens. Some pens will only have 1 thread. Most pens typically have 3 threads. So you have a 1 in 3 chance of actually getting that pattern to line up first time. Now, sometimes that can be a little bit infuriating for some. For me, it's not an issue. I just get used to it. And sometimes if you've not got as many pens as I have, you actually get used to where you should start the thread off on the pen, so that it matches up straight away first time. Now the last pen here I've got inked up today is this one, and again it's another Armando Simoni Club Bologna Extra, and this is the black and gold Lucens. Now this is a celluloid pen. It's a beautiful, beautiful celluloid. It's very much like a honeycomb effect going on there. It really is beautiful. This is number 42. It's a numbered edition. It's not a limited edition. The same with the Arco Verde as well. They were just basically trying to make as many pens as they could out of the material. So this again comes with a number 8 size Magic Flex nib there. It's a medium nib, and it writes like a broad again. It writes quite wet. And quite wide, but I like it. I do like how they write. They write very, very well, at least for me anyway. So that's my currently ink pens for this week. I think let's go and do a writing sample. So the first pen is the Visconti Homo Sapiens, and this is the Florentine Hills. So I think let's do a writing sample. Do an ink swatch first. And I do typically like these palladium nibs, because I'd say a good majority of the nibs that I have do actually write quite bouncy. So this is the Visconti Homo Sapiens, and it's the Florentine Hills, and it is a medium, and it's a 23 cap palladium nib. Now, in terms of bouncy, you can see there that's what I mean by bouncy or flexy. It has quite a bit of line variation there that you can see. Now, the ink in here today is Waterman, and it's Harmonious Green, which is quite a nice colour green ink. The other kind of green inks I like are Mont Blanc Irish Green and also Ackerman Bazurdan Woodgrown as well. The next pen is the Visconti Medici Il Magnifico in the Lapis Lazuli. So we'll do an ink swatch. Now, this is the newer 18 karat gold nib. This ink also is quite a dry ink, so that tends to actually make the nib write a little bit drier. But this is the Visconti, and it's the Medici Il Magnifico, and it's the Lapis Lazuli, and it's a medium 18 karat gold nib. And then the ink in here is Pilot Iroshizuku, and it's Aji Sei, which for me is a really beautiful ink. The next pen inked up is again another Visconti Medici Il Magnifico, but this is in the red marble. So we'll do an ink swatch here. And this is quite a lovely colour ink. It's not a red ink. It may look a little bit reddish, but it's more of a pink ink. And so this is the Visconti Medici Il Magnifico. And it is the red marble. And it's a medium, and it's a 23 karat palladium nib. And then the ink in here is Pelican, Edelstein, and it is Star Ruby, which is a really, really nice pink ink. The next pen here is a Visconti Divina Elegance in Green. Let's do an ink swatch. And you can see this is a beautiful light green colour. So this is the Visconti, and it's the Divina Elegance in green, and it has a medium, and it has a 23 karat palladium nib, and then the ink in here is Diamine, and it's Apple Glory, which is a really lovely, like grassy green coloured ink. There's another ink that I like from Diamine called Diamine Meadow, which is maybe not quite as bright. It's a little bit more grassy green. This is quite a punchy, vibrant green. The next ink, the next pen is a Visconti Divina Elegance in brown. We'll do an ink swatch. And again, this is another 23 karat palladium nib. So this is a Visconti Divina, and it's the Elegance in brown. And I am getting a little bit of skipping there on this one. It is running low on ink, I believe. Now, this is a medium 23 karat palladium nib, and then the ink in here is KWZ, and it's Nuki brown, which is a nice brown coloured ink. The next pen is the Visconti Homo Sapiens Jade. So we'll do an ink swatch. And this is quite a nice writing nib. So this is the Visconti, and it's the Homo Sapiens Jade. It's got a medium, a 23 cat palladium nib, and then the ink in here is actually Pelican, Edelstein, Jade, which is a quite a nice jadish colour ink. The next pen inked up is the Visconti Homo Sapiens Midnight in Florence. Now this is starting to run a little bit low on ink, so I will have to see if I manage to finish that ink off, or maybe I just flush it out. So this is the Visconti Homo Sapiens, and it's the Midnight in Florence, and it's a medium 23 cat palladium nib, and then the ink in here is KWZ Gummy Berry, which is quite a nice sort of gummy berry purpley coloured ink. The next pen inked up is the Visconti Homo Sapiens Blue Lagoon. So we'll do an ink swatch. Now, this is one of the newer 18 karat gold nibs from Visconti, and I do find that this medium nib writes more like a fine. So this is the Visconti Homo Sapiens, and it's the Blue Lagoon, and it's a medium 18 cat gold nib, and then the ink in here is Diamine Aqua Lagoon, which is a very, very lovely lagoon coloured ink. The next pen inked up is the Armando Simoni Club Bologna Extra Arco Verde. So we'll do an ink swatch. And these are normally very wet pens, the ASC Bolognas. So this is the ASC Bologna Extra, and it's the Arco Verde. And it's supposed to be a medium nib, but typically I think this writes more like a broad. It's got an 18 karat gold magic flex nib, and then the ink in here is Akamon, and it's Bazuden Wood Gron. But that is a lovely green coloured ink. And then the last pen inked up is an Armando Simoni Club Bologna Extra, and this is the black and gold Lucens. So we'll do an ink swatch. And again, this is quite a wet writing nib, almost like a paintbrush. So this is an ASC Bologna Extra, and it's the black and gold Lucens, and it is a medium 18 cat gold nib, and then the ink in here is KWZ Honey, which is a beautiful honey coloured ink. So I think let's take a look at these pens inked up one more time. We have a Visconti Homo Sapiens Florentine Hills in a medium 23 cat palladium nib, inked up with Waterman Harmonious Green. We have a Visconti Medici Il Magnifico in the Lapis Lazuli in a medium 18 karat gold nib, inked up with Pilot Awashizuku Aji Sei. We have a Visconti Medici Il Magnifico in the red marble in a medium 23 karat palladium nib, inked up with Pelican Edelstein Star Ruby. We have a Visconti Divina Elegance in green in a medium 23 karat palladium nib, inked up with Diamine Apple Glory. We have a Visconti Divina Elegance in brown in a medium 23 karat palladium nib, inked up with KWZ Nuki Brown. We have a Visconti Homo Sapiens Jade in a medium 23 karat palladium nib, inked up with Pelican Edelstein Jade. We have a Visconti Homo Sapiens Midnight in Florence in a medium 23 karat palladium nib, inked up with KWZ Gummy Berry. We have a Visconti Homo Sapiens Blue Lagoon in a medium 18 karat gold nib, inked up with Diamine Aqua Lagoon. We have an ASC Bologna Extra Arco Verde in a medium 18 karat gold nib, inked up with Akamon Bazoodan Woodgrown. And then we have an ASC Bologna Extra in the black and gold Lucens in a medium 18 karat gold nib, inked up with KWZ Honey. So there you have it, that's my currently inked pens for this week. Thanks for watching, please like, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next pen video. Bye bye.